here she comes. Where'd Rosa
Oh,
go? Who's at the
we
front
sent
door?
Rosa the wrong way.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Rosa went to get you
Rosa went to the other door to get you.
because you were over there, right? It was locked. Okay, we can call.
yeah, call it.
Yeah. I'm calling this regular meeting. Oops.
Smash.
I'm calling this regular meeting of the Oberlin City Schools Board of Education to order. Please call the roll.
Miss Anderson White, Miss Gadsden's here, Miss Garrett here, Miss Deagle,
Here.
Miss Emeka.
Here.
There they go. They're here.
Do we need them to stay here? Okay.
Well, I know they're here.
We just
Here.
wait for the other two people to go. And I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda for this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. Please call the roll. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Are there any changes, additions, questions? Okay. Now, hearing none, please call the roll.
Miss Anderson White,
Say yes.
you speak into the mic. Thank
Did
you.
you turn it on?
Miss Gadsden,
Yes.
Miss Garrett,
Yes.
Miss Daigle,
Yes.
Miss Emeka.
Yes. Okay, next we have citizens' concerns on agenda items. Do we have anyone sign up to make comments about anything that is on the agenda?
Any names? Nope.
Okay, great. Next we have news of note and presentations. Dr. Hall.
Okay, tonight we have a couple of presentations from our lovely students and our staff as well. I'm going to turn over to them because they're the experts in this area here. I have Oberlin Elementary Exhibition Student Council and SOAR recognition. Ms. Weber.
You got to turn it on, Miss Weber.
As most of my students who are here this evening, so it works out well. So good evening, not just good evening, great evening for OES. We always try to have a great day here. When we were preparing for tonight, it was really hard to narrow down the amazing things that we're doing here every day with our kids. So we're gonna highlight just a couple things. Even picking photos for our collage at the beginning was really hard because it's been a fantastic school year. Those are just a couple highlights. And a few more things that have happened kind of this spring, late winter that I want to share with us. So something great is always happening here at OES. We are working on our One School, One Book program. This year we are doing The World According to Humphrey. We had our big book reveal at the beginning of April. If you're not familiar with the program, every student in our building is given a copy of the book. We have lots of clues that lead up to the week. They're trying to guess what the book is. This year it's The World According to Humphrey. We did a big reveal. We all unwrapped our books together, and we read the first chapter together online. So a really nice moment for us to all share. This year we took it a little further. So the main character in the book is a hamster. So one of our staff members found someone to crochet little hamsters, and we gave every class their own class pet. And the students are taking turns taking them home. And we're connecting to families by having our students write The World According to, and whatever their class has named their hamsters. So the kids take the hamster home, they write about what the hamster does with them in the evening, and then we're curating a school set of books written by our students that will be in our school library for all the kids to enjoy. It's been really fun hearing the names of the hamsters, like Cutie Pie, Pumpkin Pie, Super Humphrey. The kids have been really creative. The next thing we want to highlight is definitely some of the work of our staff and students and families. The governor did a Science of Reading recognition program, and it was really about improving literacy for students. Our school, we applied in October. When we looked over the application, we thought, this is a lot of what we're already doing. We're not having to scramble and dig and try to find, are we doing this or not? A lot of it was related to good instruction for students, offering tiered interventions and enrichment. And we were lucky to find out in March that we were one of the 48 schools out of Ohio, all of Ohio, that was selected. And there were 6 of us in Lorain County, and we were one of the 6. So that's just a huge highlight for our staff. and this literacy journey we've been on for a while now. To be able to be recognized and say that all of those efforts, hard work, studying, professional development have really paid off. It's showing in our students and at the state level. We have also been expanding enrichment with a spelling bee. We've had a spelling bee in the past, but usually it was just for 4th or 5th grade, usually students involved in our gifted program. This year, Ms. Kazmierzak expanded it to 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, and any students who were interested could join, and that was great because I told them they were much braver than I was, because even at my age now, I would not enter a spelling bee. It's not my forte, but we were glad to see so many students take a risk. And we had 4 spellers actually go on to the county level and compete at the ESC. And finally, we're installing some new things around the building. If you visit our playground, you'll see a communication board, and it's for students who might need a little extra support in communicating their needs or desires or how to get others to play with them. It's a board of images where they can communicate by pointing out the images. And we've also installed sensory paths around the building, so when students or adults need to get a little more movement out or move in a creative way, the students can utilize those sensory paths. And you can see one of our students using it there. We have lots more to come, including kinder camp. So if you know any students who are going to be in kindergarten, urge them to register with us and get enrolled in our kinder camp. We're going to hear about PYP exhibition. We'll have preschool bridging. We have lots of students who are going to the Special Olympics and representing us this year. We'll also have our math and literacy night in May. And our carnival theme. Field day, of course. Our 5th grade clap-in on the last day of school to celebrate our 5th graders. And then, of course, Pi the principal will come after our and they're all smiling after our next iReady diagnostic is finished at the beginning of May. But I'm going to turn it over to the people everybody wants to see, which is our students and our teachers. So any questions for me? All right, we'll have them come on up. Exhibition first.
Hi, I'm Charlie, and I'm in the bullying exhibition group.
Hi, I'm Atticus, and I'm in food insecurity. Hi, I'm Kyra, and I'm in the animal shelters exhibition group. Mark your calendars. On Thursday, May 22nd, the 5th graders of Oberlin Elementary will hold their annual exhibition night. At this year's event, student groups will present on topics we chose because they're important to kids our age. Topics include social media impact, bullying, animal shelters, food insecurity, youth sports, youth anxiety, and more.
As an IB school district, the exhibition process allows us to bring together our knowledge and skills and share our research and action projects with Oberlin students, families, and community members.
For example, my group, Food Insecurity, will be holding a non-perishable food donation drive for Oberlin Community Services. As a part of our action project, we are designing a message to go out in the Oberlin City Schools newsletter, letting people know about the drive and what items can be donated. My group, Animal Shelters, will have a donation drive for the Friendship APL in Elyria. We're looking for items such as Purina dog chow, wet cat food, towels, blankets, pet food bowls, and more. We have created flyers to publicize the event, and we'll share them with you tonight.
We look forward to seeing you on Thursday, May 22nd at 6 p.m. in the Oberlin Elementary School gym. Do you have any questions?
Did you say you were going to give us flyers for those things? Thank you. Exhibition is always my favorite night of the year, so I'm excited to see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
Thank you.
Very well done.
Put that in my calendar right now. Thank you. May 22nd.
Thank you for your patience as we get everyone set up. If you can get in your line order, so Hudson is over here. Come all the way down. Third, fourth, go down one. Do 5, 6. Who's 6? 6. So go over here, but are you 6? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, we have everyone. We'll start with introductions. I'm Sarah Parsh, by the way, 5th grade teacher, and that's Miss Ruiz, 5th grade teacher. We're the student council advisors.
Hi, I'm Hudson, and I'm in 3rd grade. Hi, I'm Evelyn, and I'm in 4th grade.
Hi, I'm Charlie, and I'm in 5th grade.
Hi, I'm Atticus, and I'm in 5th grade.
Hi, I'm Kyra, and I'm in 5th grade.
Hi, I'm Sully, and I'm in 5th grade.
Hi, my name's Kalena, and I'm in 5th grade. Hi, my name's Alyssa, and I'm in 5th grade.
Hi, I'm Cooper, and I'm in 4th grade.
My name is Evelyn, and I'm in 4th grade. Hi, my name is Anthony, and I'm in 5th grade. Hi, my name is Kylie, and I'm in 3rd grade. Hi, I'm Luca, and I'm in 3rd grade.
Student Council has been a part of OES for 4 years now. It is a student-led group made up of 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. Being in Student Council is a big responsibility because we work hard to help our school and community.
To join Student Council, we had to be elected by our homeroom class. We should. We were chosen because we show the RISE motto every day, being respectful, involved, safe, and empathetic.
In December, we teamed up with Oberlin High School's Interact Club to run our annual Soup and Sock Drive.
We collected soup cans, non-perishable foods, and warm socks to donate to people in need in our community. We donated these cans to Oberlin Community Services.
Right before winter break, we helped spread holiday cheer by making holiday cards for Kendall and Welcome nursing homes. Every class at OES made cards to brighten someone's day.
In February, we helped spread kindness in lots of ways. We hosted a fun spirit week, made kindness videos and morning announcements, and shared kindness read-alouds during our morning SEL time.
One of our biggest projects is still going on today, the Kindness Jar. It's right outside of the office, and students can write kindness shout-outs for other students or staff. Ms. Reber reads them on the morning announcements, and then we deliver them to the people who were shouted out.
We also celebrated Black History Month by holding a school-wide door decorating contest. Every classroom decorated their door to honor important Black figures in history. We judged the doors in different categories: People's Choice, aka Fan Favorite, Most Creative, Most Informational, Best Theme, and Unique Use of Materials. The winners got prizes from Miss Weber.
On February 26th, we participated in the Eco Olympics event. We had 2 tables with fun ways to reuse old items.
At the first table, we used old t-shirts to make friendship bracelets, headbands, and bandanas. At the second table, we made picture frames out of old CDs. It was a great way to show how we can recycle and be creative. For Women's History Month, we researched inspiring women from history and picked out quotes that touched our hearts. We enjoyed learning about the amazing things these women had done.
We've done so much this year and we're so excited to see what next year brings. Thank you for having us tonight. Do you have any questions?
Thank you. You all did a
Thanks.
great
Thank
job.
you. Excellent
Thank you
job.
so
Wonderful
much.
work. Thank you.
Just push it in.
Yeah, thank you. Next presentation. Okay, next we'd like to recognize our great track team as well. Did a wonderful job, and like to turn over to Coach Hooks and Coach Coachman.
Yeah, all the
Gotta turn
students.
it back on.
Come on, y'all.
They turned it up.
Speech tonight, but I did type something up today. These are all of our lovely ladies here. We have Kachina, Cayman, Olivia, Aubrey, Jasmine, and Alyssa. Between these 6 ladies, they participated in 9 different events and earned a total of 6 medals at the indoor state track meet. And we ultimately took first place in Division 4 after a very exciting 4x400 meter relay at the end of the meet. Olivia kind of made sure we got the gold medal there right at the end. There were some individual awards and some relay team awards. So Cayman was 4th in the girls' 60 meter dash. Jasmine was 6th in the 200. Olivia was 3rd in the 200 and 2nd in the 400. And then our girls 4x200 and 4x400 both got first place. Our girls 4x200 was first by like 5 whole seconds, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it is in track time. So our 4x2 was Alyssa, Aubrey, Cayman, and Jasmine. And our 4x4 was Aubrey, Jasmine, Kachina, and Olivia. And just like a little bit of history, Oberlin was the first team to win a Division 4 track and field title since they expanded to 4 divisions this year. So they've also set the record for both the 4x200 and the 4x400 meter relay. So y'all are part of history.
Yeah.
All right.
And hopefully in a month or so, maybe 6 weeks or so, we'll be in Columbus doing the same thing.
All right.
Yeah, there y'all are. I tried to pick the nice ones.
Wait, can I ask, how long have you all been running? Competitively, I guess.
How about you? How long have you been running?
I'll do it for you.
Thank you.
Aubrey and Olivia and Alyssa has been running the longest. They were started in middle school. Olivia started before middle school, elementary. She was doing all type of stuff with her family and stuff. But Jasmine came in and Kachina. They've been running since middle school up into the high school. So very competitive team. These young ladies are awesome, I'm telling you. And you're going to read more about them.
Yeah.
Our job is easy. They make us look good all the time. So that's what I like about them. You know, I don't have to do too much work.
And the even more exciting part is that 3 of them are juniors and 3 of them are freshmen. So we have many more years to come.
All right.
Good job. Thank you, ladies. Great job. Wonderful for our sports program, and I'd like to thank OES as well. And we have a couple other announcements to make. Last week, the Oberlin Heritage Center hosted its annual meeting and community awards dinner, a special evening dedicated to celebrating those who made a lasting impact on our community. During the event, the Community Educator Award was presented to individuals, those who work and embodies the mission of the Heritage Center to make Oberlin a better place to live, learn, work, and visit. This year, honorees included Mr. David Reese and Mr. Johnny Cole for their leadership for the MANS project that they have working with our young students at Oberlin High School. We also recognize Mr. Nicholas Ruiz. Each recognition I recognize for their commitment to education, mentorship, and community engagement. Congratulations to all of those well-deserved recognitions. Next, I'd like to announce our district-wide Spring Music and Arts Festival will be held starting at 9 a.m. on Saturday, May the 10th, in our Oberlin High School auditorium. The Music and Arts Boosters will be selling breakfast, lunch, and dinner items throughout the day. The day will feature performances by the OHS Choir, OHS Orchestra, OHS Band, LMS Choir, and LMS Orchestra. The final event starts at 4:30 p.m. Each performance will last approximately about 1 hour. I'd like to thank our students and our families that came out for our Easter egg hunt for Rotary. We apologize to some, we did run out of eggs. We had tons of families showed up and tons of children showing up at that time. That was this weekend. And I think those who did not see Little Women play, it was phenomenal. So you missed a great performance by our students. And I'd also like to thank our directors as well for helping out. Our teachers did a great job orchestrating that performance. So I think a lot of our students doing the drama performance did a phenomenal job. Next, I'd also like to kind of change the agenda a little bit because we want to try to get some people out as well. We have facilities update, and I'd like to turn it over to TDA for our facilities update before we have a legislative update as well. So TDA, I'll turn it over to you and Mr. Eibel, and they'll provide information regarding a couple resolutions on here about our 6 through 8 construction project that we have going on, and it's moving forward. And I'd like to thank our city as well, Planning Commission, for approving that plan too as well.
Thank you, Dr. Hall. It's off. It's a pleasure to be here. No, it's off.
No, it's not.
There you go.
Report on our work with the entire team. I say that your administration's been working very hard with us on this effort, and we appreciate their continued participation. We've gone through the schematic design phase for the new 6 through 8 building. I think everyone likes the plan, and it includes art and multipurpose rooms, classrooms, a new competitive gym, the Board of Education offices, since they have to be relocated from Langston, and of course the middle school administration. Plus it has provisions for a future high school. We've gone through the Planning Commission and got approval, so I think we're moving on a good track, and we've been working closely with Jeff Tuckerman from Hammond Construction on budget. So I think we're moving along well. Jim, did you have?
No, just would like to thank these two gentlemen for sure, because obviously we don't have unlimited funds. We've done this, again, you know, without going back to the voters for a bond issue. So budget is paramount. The building's going to be beautiful, whatever it is. We appreciate the fact architects love to plan big, great, wonderful things that are phenomenal. So that's what this building's going to be within budget. So we're doing our best to stay there with that. So don't know if you have any questions about the process with the master plan. I think everything's been presented to you, and there aren't any changes.
Correct.
So we're just moving along, process is moving along. Again, looking to be in the new building 27, fall of 27. So we're doing our best. I had a couple other updates. It would not be a facilities update without hearing something about Eastwood. So with Eastwood, we are still, again, trying to come up with the agreement with the Oberlin Land Trust for them to develop housing with it. We were trying to come up with an agreement with the Oberlin Land Bank, or with the Lorain County Land Bank. That three-way agreement is not going to be able to go through, so we've gone back to the Lorain County Port Authority, who we were going to work out the agreement with our previous interested party. So we do know that, though, that the Port Authority can exercise that three-party agreement. So that's where we are. That's why we've lost a month or two with that. We hope that it would be a little further along, but things take time. The last thing I think we put in the update this week was believe it or not, we have come to the end of our 5-year food service management agreement with AVI. And by law, we have to, every 5 years, go out to bid process to see if there are any other corporations, companies that would like to entertain our food service management. So with that, it's a process, of course, of going out for requests for proposals, RFPs, which we need to submit to the state to make sure that our RFP meets their requirements for food service management. So we've provided copies of that to you with the goal of, again, putting it out to bid for AVI or whoever would like to bid on it. We will send our request for proposal to them. We had to give them basic information about number of days served, our staff, that, again, we will continue to pay our staff. But they want to know all the costs and the types of meals we serve, everything, so that everybody who bids on the food service management has a fair playing field. So our goal is to get that sent down to the state in the very near future, possibly early next week, late this week. So if you have any feedback for us on that, then we'll be waiting for the state to give us that back so we can actually send it out. We will bring the proposals to you, the bids to you, and we'll go over it again, so it'll be a team decision again on which food service management company we'd like to do. The goal, since we don't have a meeting in July, would be to finish it up by June, but we will see. I know it's end of April, so we don't want to have a meeting in June, I know. So we'll try to get it all to you by June, rather, not July. Sorry. Questions?
I think a couple of board members have been on that process before. I think,
Yeah.
Joanne, you were on that process before as well, interviewing several other agencies that'll come through. This is actually a nice process to be on, and they usually come by, do about a half hour, 45-minute presentation for us, and then we'll make, on a rubric, make choices from there.
Yep. We'll do a pre-bid meeting where they have a chance to come walk through the buildings and ask questions, and we'll get them all the same answers and go through the process. And then we'll give you their information and have them come in and present to us.
And on your board agenda, item J, H, and I are OFCC requesting approval for those items. Those are the items referred to as OFCC Expedition Local Partnership Program and also the phase review comments. And those are requirements, just like our last project we did with elementary. That's a process we have to go through. Program requirements and schematic design documents. Should be in the board packet that we need approval for tonight for the project moving along. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Hall.
Any other questions for Mr. Eibel, our TDA, our Hammond Construction? Okay. Thank you.
I'm just wondering, how many corporations do you typically interview for the food service?
We can pick. I think the first time it was 3 years ago.
We had six apply the last time, and
Yeah.
we interviewed 3.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
manageable.
Yeah.
Good. Yep. Thank you, Mr. Eibel. Okay. Next on the agenda, we have, we're going to go to legislative updates. I'm going to do an update on U.S. Department of Education impact on the resolutions in the board packet. And then we have board members, Garrett, also will do an update as well. She attended a conference and have a lot of information. There's been a lot going on within the state. Of course, everyone have seen within the newspaper as far as your U.S. Department of Education. Inside, they required us, U.S. Department of Education, also the Department of Education, require us to fill out a form stating that we're in compliance with DEI and our federal funding could be in jeopardy as well. So I made a presentation here to illustrate, along with my team here, about the impact of how much federal funding the district do receive as well. Compliance, what we've been doing for the last 3 weeks since I believe they came out in April the 18th or sometime in April, and we didn't have a lot of time for turnaround. The U.S. Department of Education sent us a memo and all the superintendents in the United States telling us that we have to be in compliance with their Title IX compliance and the DEI pieces. Basically, here's a basic test to consider. We've had our legal team look at it. We've worked with Neola. We worked with couple attorneys, ODE, and we've been coming up with different things, reviewing our policies for the last couple weeks here. Here's a basic test to consider whether something violates the title. If an educational institution treats a person of one race differently than it treats another person because of that person's race, the educational institution violates that law, which normally, we don't do that at all. And we reviewed our policies and we don't see that. Permitted, schools with programs focus on interests in particular cultures, heritage, and areas of the world would not in any of themselves violate the title, assuming they are open to all students regardless of race, nor would educational, cultural, or historical observance such as Black History Month, International Holocaust Remembrance Day, or similar events that celebrate or recognize historical events and contributions and promote awareness so long as they do not engage in racial exclusion or discrimination. I believe sent to the board on a series of letters that U.S. Department of Education has provided superintendents and community members regarding DEI and their initiative to move forward with not having DEI initiatives within the schools. So for the last couple of weeks, we've been reviewing the following items: all of our policies, courses, contents, handbooks, initiatives that we have going on, and documents. And we're still reviewing them currently. It's unclear of which ones are DEI, which ones are not. The federal government and the state is not giving a total clear guidance of what they call it. So we're going by what we have here. Here's a basic test. So basically, we have not found that within our policies, but we're still reviewing them. I think this is going to be an intense process, and we're going to have to review with pretty much all our practices and see what goes in that category. I did not review them. I reviewed them as well, and also our legal team has reviewed them, and our Neola policy person has reviewed them. The financial impact, if we do not sign the agreement, the U.S. Department of Education funding provides, and I want to provide a clear expectation of how much funding we get from federal grants. So if we do not comply with it, we're still unsure what the sanctions will mean, but according to the U.S. Department of Education and ODE, it will impact our federal funding for the district. Federal funding includes areas like Title I. So we received about $298,000 from Title I. We also received Title IIA, and also other title options here as well with IDEA-B. So we received a lot of title funding, and there's more that I'll show you here in a minute. IDEA-B, funding for special education services, is critical because this provides a lot of services, teachers, support staff for special needs students. And these are some things that are in jeopardy if we're out of compliance. The academic impact will be federal funding. Some of these things are tied to our federal funding and the state funding and applying for grants. Federal funding includes early childhood special education, early childhood education, our ECE program that we have. Our ECE program is what we have here within the district that are for economically disadvantaged students that we work with our students on. So that could be impacted by the federal funding if it's cut. State funding, we engaged in an initiative called Each Child on Track. That's a state initiative, so it's $50,000 over 2 years. Each Child on Track initiative provide a team of people together that analyze student data, that look at their attendance, that looks at review students' academics, and try to build connections with them and collaboration with them to find out how can we help at-risk students get on track. We also looking at, we apply for grants as well. We apply for a Gear Up grant, which is $65,000. That's currently right now being applied for. We haven't heard anything back for anyone because we're unsure of if that's going to exist or not. Gear Up provide resources for a lot of our high school students and also middle school students for college awareness, and also would help with staffing if we get the grant. The Gear Up grant is a collaboration with several other districts that we applied for, but it has been pretty much no communication to find out if that's still going on or not. Our literacy grant, which was, we have reapplied for another literacy grant. And our previous literacy grant, I know we provided information regarding our literacy grant and our scores that helped out with a lot of our literacy programs that we have, the testing, teaching staff. And it's very critical that we have that literacy grant. We had that literacy grant which moved our scores and also provided support for our students. We reapplied for it. I'm not sure we're going to get it or not, but end of the day, we're not sure if we will receive any more grants from the feds if we do not comply. Or if we do not comply, they may take us out of these grant options and say you're not eligible for any of these grants. Also, within our federal funding, we have E-rates, which is about $300,000 over a 5-year period. E-rate is utilized for our technology for the school system. State funding, we have network subsidy and safety grants for our district. Safety grants, we're right now looking at providing key access for our high school, fob access for them. We received several safety grants over the few years that have upgraded our technology and safety initiatives within our school district. Operations, we have to also consider what our federal funding, food services is considered in there. Commodities, some of the food and some of the supplies we purchase. Safe routes to school, which we work with the city on, and also the health department. So a lot of those things are included inside of our federal funding. Special education impact, IDEAB, we stated before, is $207,000. Funds are federal funds that we receive to implement required services under Individuals with Disability Act. This allocation is used for salaries, benefits for 2 intervention specialists and 3 paraprofessionals. So a lot of those funding right there is used for directly impacting students, which are staffing. We have a lot of SEL programming too, our social emotional learning programs that we have as well. That's tied to our federal Title III, $3,000. We also have some safety grants as well for programming. So we usually get safety grants that provide support for restorative practices. Dr. Knight came in, and other initiatives that we have going on within the district. So that would impact that as well. We're unsure whether the state foundation funding will be impacted as well. This is money that we get for the state. We get 2 different funds for the state. We get a restricted foundation money and we get non-restricted foundation money. Our restricted foundation money includes our wellness funding, some of our initiatives that we have with social services in the building, gifted, economically disadvantaged, homeless. That's restricted funding that is put specifically aside out of our foundation funding for these initiatives. And we have non-restricted funding of $3.3 million. We're unsure whether, because we have to send this document to the state and also to the U.S. Department of Education, we're not sure what the sanctions will be. They're unclear. They just said the federal funding, it will impact the federal funding pieces. End of the day, it's estimated that the district will possibly lose about $1 million in federal funding. And we're unsure of all of the other impact at state and federal level. Grants, federal and state scholarships, state foundation funding, $3.3 million. We're still unsure what the sanctions will look like. So we do know that based on the federal funding period, we get about $1 million for that. So according to the letter I received, that definitely will probably be a sanction. We're not sure it's going to be a warning or there's immediately going to stop the funding from the district. That concludes my report. So that is something that we have to provide to the sign-off on either today and provide it to the U.S. Department of Education, and also we have to provide it for the Ohio Department of Education. You know what I'm saying? We're to do now, so Department of Education or Workforce.
So I have a question. I know you listed some state funding on there, and it kind of sounds like you're saying you're not sure whether that is in jeopardy or not. Can you just talk a little bit about your understanding right now of how the state is playing a role in any of this and why they're requesting this form? Or if they are.
The state is requesting to make sure that we're in compliance with the federal Department of Education. So really much like the federal department's here and the state's here. So they're kind of almost backing up what they're saying is federal U.S. Department of Education saying, you know, you guys better do this. So the state's saying, yes, you better do this. So we're not sure how to, the state has not told us, well, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen.
Right.
So however, they jumped in, probably we received something from the U.S. Department of Ed. Shortly after that, then we received something from the State Department, from our state, saying, yes, we need a copy of it too.
Okay, so the state has not issued its own directive based on like the state constitution or any state laws. This is just like a pass-through. The federal government said you have to do it, so we're just making sure that you do it.
Could be, yes.
That's what it looks like.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And then, I don't know, other people might have questions, but what advice have we received? Like, just in general, what are we being, what are our lawyers saying about, hey, this is what we think should happen? Or what our risk is?
Our attorney's been advising us on, we have a couple options. Most districts are signing off on this. One of the options where we sign off on it, compliance. Another option would be sign off on it and we make a strong letter with it and send that to the U.S. Department of Education. Our attorney said they're not sure if the Department of Education will keep that letter, or they just want the letter. They gave us a form letter they wanted. So are they just going to want that letter, and that's it, and not keep anything if we attach an addendum to it? They weren't even sure if we modified the letter, would they keep it? So, and what we're hearing from the U.S. Department of Ed, they want that letter that they pretty much made for us. Or we can join and fight with them, or we can join a legal action against them. I'm sure other school systems are doing that same thing. But we would, and our attorneys recommend that, look, they feel something's going to happen. They felt that we see the letter saying that no sanctions will happen until the 25th, April the 25th. So that is what we're hearing right now. To April 25th, no sanctions will happen. Our attorneys feel the 25th, something will come out on the 25th, or shortly after, stating that districts did not comply and some things may happen with it. They're not sure what's going to happen, but they do know they're betting that something will happen.
And have we gotten any updates on any, I mean, I know there's litigation that some folks have started. Do we know the status of that as of April 22nd?
We have not received any updates. Our legal was kind of hoping that these last couple of weeks or last couple of days that we will see something, but it's been quiet. So we have not received anything yet. I think after the 25th, that's when we're going to probably see some list of who complied, who didn't comply, and what list we're on, and the next steps of whether to give a warning, or our attorney wasn't sure if we don't do it the 25th, they can just cut funds that day and say, hey, we're not reimbursing you on that day. So our attorney recommended, they have no idea what's going to happen, but they feel something's going to happen.
Any other questions?
I have a brief question. Did our attorneys give you any indication whether there's any finality to what they're asking of us? Is this the end? I mean, is there a chance that, and I'm sure there is there a chance that there could be other demands on local school districts to go even further into this rabbit hole?
Yes, they're not sure of where it's going. I think everybody's waiting to see, because those executive orders can continue on. And right now, we're still unsure even what DEI, how anybody's defining that. So, and they also have a hotline too, where people can say, hey, they're doing DEI here. So anyone can say, hey, they're doing DEI, then they have to do investigative pieces. But we're still unsure of how that looks. So they have not even defined that yet. So there could be some other, this could be one of 3 that's coming.
I mean, going back to one of the slides, I think the initial slide where there's kind of a definition as to what programmings would not be put us in non-compliance. Black History Month, International Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Those are
And I'm worried that, you know, any programming that may be reported as being not in compliance could put us in further jeopardy.
Yeah.
That's a concern.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a question. We got this direction in when did we get this?
April.
Mid-April? So they wanted a 2-week turnaround?
Early April, yeah, they wanted a quick turnaround. Well, it's been out there as far as the executive order has been out there for a while, saying that DEI is not permitted. So within the last couple of weeks, it was, well, we better make sure that we're not doing DEI.
So, but they haven't narrowed down what their interpretation of DEI truly is, which is why we're up in the air as far as everything else is concerned. So that's why well, not just us, but apparently a lot of school districts are going through trying to scrub everything or look at everything to see if we're compliant or not.
And by the looking at everything, our legal and Neola's our service that we utilize for our policies. They have reviewed a lot of our policies and the courses. I sent our legal couple courses that we have, our course catalog, especially at the high school level. They don't see anything that may draw a red flag or anything, but they're still saying we don't see anything that could draw a red flag, but
It's all still subjective as to who determines what is and what isn't.
yes.
Okay.
Well, if there's not anything that's obviously a red flag, I think we should just assume that we're okay. In the absence of any other information.
Yes.
I think we've always been
We've always been okay.
Yeah, I
This is-
mean, as
this
far,
is
as far
ridiculous.
as this bullying
Yeah,
letter is what I'm talking about.
And we don't know
Yeah.
what's coming next, so we just have to play it by ear.
So we can literally say, hey, yeah, we're good. Here's the form. We're good. And someone could say, well, no, you're not. And then it's okay, all right. That's what I need.
Yeah, and there's like a sanction process, and yeah, it's not pretty. If for some reason, it's basically like you made a false statement. If it turns out we have programs that don't comply with this statement. But my question again, though, is, or follow-up question is there any inkling that this litigation that's happening now, because, you know, a lot of stuff that's going on with this administration, people have gone to the courts and you get a stop, and
Right.
then that stop goes away and it comes back online, and then you get another stop. You know, so is there an injunction or anything out there, or a restraining order, or
Not yet.
anything to save us?
I know they're battling with Harvard and a couple of universities as well, so nothing has came through. And I know our attorney thought that, she was hoping and something will happen to stop this by the 24th. It didn't happen.
It's the 22nd.
Yeah, it's the
Well,
day after
22nd,
tomorrow.
well, yes, we thought it would happen sooner, but maybe it will.
So then I guess my question is, so we're going to wait till the last minute to sign this?
Our attorney recommended for the 24th to sign on the 24th.
Because it's due on the 25th.
No, June the 24th.
Okay.
But however, the 18th was, the feds wanted it the federal government wanted theirs on the 18th. But our attorney recommended, say, look, you know what, maybe something will come through, give us time to talk to the board. But ODE wanted it finally filed on the 24th. It was weird, one wanted it one day, the other one wanted a different day. Then they stated that no sanctions will happen until the 25th.
Ah, okay.
So we want to get it in the 24th.
At 11:59.
I mean, I hope they would give us a grace period. All right.
Their fax machine might break. We might want to do it a little bit earlier than that.
I mean, they should have an email. Jeez.
If it's electronically, it's 11:59 and 59 seconds. Trust me.
Exactly. They got an email somewhere.
Well, I guess we should ask the lawyers. They know. Any other questions? Okay. Well, that was sad.
That's really sad.
Oh,
All right, wish it was happier note.
Are you, that's it?
Janice got to talk now.
Yes, that was mine, but
Oh, yeah.
Ms. Garrett has
Yeah.
hers. I know she wants to present on the workshop that she went to and provided a lot of some legal updates that she provided that, from attending workshops.
Yeah, can I sit here and do it?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Good. Okay, so you're going to put up my
Oh, sorry.
thing on the board there? Okay, so this was the National Conference on Public Education that I attended in Columbus, April 4th through the 6th. There was so many sessions. I was really sorry that I was the only one from Oberlin because I had to pick and choose which sessions I went to. You want to go to the next slide? The first session was with Diane Ravitch, who is an author of many books on education, most notably Reign of Error, which came out in 2013. She's like a celebrity in the world of education. And next one. And also Josh Cowan, who researched the voucher movement for the last 20 years, culminating in a book called The Privateers, which just came out. He researched how the voucher movement did not originate with parents. It was started by billionaires, including the Koch brothers, Betsy DeVos, Elon Musk, and the Waltons. And why? Because education, especially university researchers, were showing that climate change is real. And this was also being taught in the schools. I know when I was teaching kindergarten, I read the Lorax to my students. And they wanted this information to be suppressed. The three most important points that Cowan wanted us to take away, stay there, were vouchers are the school's choice, not the parents'. They are the educational version of predatory lending. They will eventually bankrupt public education and push parents to pay tuition for their children to go to school like they do for college. And this is a theme that I heard over and over again throughout the conference. Okay, you can go to the next one. The next session was again with Diane Ravitch. It was called Policies and Power in the Fight Against Privatization and for Public Education. And Diane Ravitch said that public schools were put in place not to raise test scores. They were put in place to raise equality. The attacks on DEI can't erase reality. We pay tuition, we pay taxes for the public good. We pay them for police and fire departments and public schools, even if we personally don't ever use them. The policies of the current administration, both in Washington and Columbus, are not intended to support the people. They are intended to support the oligarchs. In public schools, we are not indoctrinating children. That is happening in religious schools. Okay, next one. This is Jess Piper. She was a real firecracker. She did a session on the science of reading. Apparently, the science of reading has neither science nor educational research behind it. It was written by ALEC, the American Legislative Exchange Council, which is a right-wing think tank that writes and pushes all kinds of legislation all over the country. The intent is to steer away from the so-called woke agenda. Next one. It's about conservatives taking over education, and it has been promoted by Betsy DeVos, the Waltons, Doris and Donald Fisher Fund and the Bloomberg Philanthropic. Next one. The next section was on policy matters, honesty in education, and the School Board Alliance. And they made the point that students are our North Star. CTR, LGBT, DEI, they're all connected in the anti-woke agenda sponsored by the Heritage Foundation. Next one. This is author John L. Lewis. He made the point that everywhere you go, you are going to encounter graduates of public education. Resisting these attacks on public education requires dedication and an extreme level of persistence. Next one. This session was on LifeWise, and it was sponsored by the Secular Education Association. As per the Supreme Court, release time for religious instruction requires three things. First of all, parental permission. Second is it must be off school premises. And third, no money should be spent by the public schools. They talked about a book that is out promoting LifeWise, and it's called During School Hours. Chapter 1 in this book is entitled Undoing Public Education. They describe public schools as their mission field. Vermilion was the first district in the state to say no to LifeWise. They created 3 policies. 1, no solicitation, which translates into children bringing back to school candy or tickets or whatever tokens are intended to make their peers want to go. Number 2, students can only be released during lunch or recess. And 3, they require background checks on all of the adults that either take the children or instruct the children. Okay, next one. This session was on Vouchers Hurt Ohio, Part 1. Currently, 300 out of the 600 school districts in Ohio have joined the lawsuit, but we need all of the school districts, including Oberlin. There's $1.2 billion are taken from educational tax dollars to go to vouchers, and that is money that we are losing. We could have full funding for all of our schools if we didn't have vouchers. Vouchers subsidize wealthy families. Eric Brown, who was a former member of the Ohio Supreme Court, was on the panel. He's the second one from the right there. He said that we must take all available steps to make sure that we have the funds we need to educate our children. Vouchers are a transfer of funds from the poor to the wealthy. It's state-sponsored discrimination. Next one. This guy walked in off the street and he did a keynote speech. He talked about the teachers who had given him both identity and purpose, Francine Toss and Larry Thomas. He said repeatedly that public education isn't important, it is essential. Someone could be born into poverty, but through education would have the ability to move out of it. Next one. This session was on organizing and coalition building. We need to educate parents as to how schools are funded. Ed Choice is defunding our schools. Next one. This is Gina Hinojosa, sorry. She is a state rep from Texas. She made the point that school choice is the school's choice, not the parents' choice. She said it's a crass money grab. The end game is to require parents to pay for their children's education. Next one. This one was on organizing. They talked about a book called Healing Together, Public Schools Strong by Asma El-Houni. And she made the point in the book that public education is foundational to the fight for democracy. Next one. This was Vouchers Hurt Ohio Part 2. And they made the point that 90% of vouchers go to wealthy families. Vouchers hurt teachers also because less money goes into STRS. None of the Ed Choice funds are audited, none. And remember that democracy is not a spectator sport. Funds that are taken from districts will lead to the need for more tax levies, but we are winning in the court of public opinion. Public opinion is supreme when it comes to the Ohio Supreme Court because the only thing that they have to fear is public backlash. Next one. This is Randy Weingarten. She is the president of the American Federation of Teachers. She was characterized by a member of Trump's administration as the most dangerous person in America. She made the point that when we get a chance to build back, maybe we can abolish the testing. Woohoo! Bullies count on people being afraid and hiding. Don't give up. Don't be silent. The people don't want what the current administration is doing to our country. And lastly, this is Governor Tim Walz. He said that education is the great American equalizer. The two most admired professions are teachers and nurses. Now is the time for us to save public education. It's going to get worse. And then there will be an inverse reaction, and we must protect the most vulnerable. When we get a chance to build back, we need to make it the way it should be, both in education and in our society. The public is with us, history is with us, morality is with us. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Janet. I appreciate it. So are we done with the,
Yes.
are we moving on to the next thing? Okay.
Yes.
So now we are moving on to action items. I will entertain a motion to approve board items A through J.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. We have the approval of the March 18th, 2025 regular session minutes, the approval of the teacher appreciation resolution, which I'll read that now. So whereas teachers mold future citizens through guidance, instruction, and education, and whereas teachers encounter and inspire students from widely diverse backgrounds, experiences, and abilities, and whereas the future of our community, state, and nation depends upon providing a high-quality education to all students, And whereas teachers devote countless hours to preparing lessons, evaluating student progress, mentoring, counseling, coaching, and contributing to their communities beyond the classroom. And whereas the Oberlin community recognizes and supports its teachers in their critical role of educating and nurturing the children of this community, now, therefore, be it resolved that the Oberlin City School District Board of Education strongly encourages all members of our community to join in expressing sincere appreciation to our teachers for their dedication, passion, and commitment to excellence in education. And that's to be adopted today once we vote on this. The action items. The second action item is approval of the classified staff appreciation resolution, which is, I'll read that now. Whereas the education of our youth is vital to the future of our community, state, nation, and world, and whereas classified employees are the backbone of our public education system, providing essential services that support teaching and learning, and whereas classified employees work collaboratively with students, educators, parents, volunteers, business partners, and community members, and whereas classified employees ensure the efficient operation of school offices, the safety and maintenance of buildings and grounds, the safe transportation of students, the preparation of nutritious meals, and the direct support of student learning. And whereas our community relies on and deeply appreciates the commitment and professionalism of classified employees who serve our students each day, and whereas classified employees with their diverse skills and unwavering dedication nurture and guide students throughout their educational journey, now therefore be it resolved that the Oberlin City School District Board of Education hereby proclaims its sincere appreciation for the contributions of all classified employees and encourages all members of our community to join in recognizing and celebrating their invaluable service. And this too will be adopted upon voting on the board items. The next one is the approval of, oh yeah, did I read through all those already? Okay, yeah, approval, I did. Approval of Ed Choice Vouchers, Hurt, Ohio. Do I need to read that resolution? Approval of the revised 2025, 2026, and 2026, 2027 academic calendars. Approval of the resolution declaring impracticality of transportation of identified students per revised code section 3327.02. Approval of the resolution to accept the third amended master facility plan for the OFCC expedited local partnership program and restated project agreement. That was a G. Action item H is approval of the resolution authorizing the school district board to acknowledge the OFCC design phase review comments. And action item I is approval of the resolution approving the school district's program of requirements and schematic design documents for the construction of a new 6-8 middle school building in connection with the school district's OFCC expedited local partnership program. And then board item J is approval to authorize the superintendent to accept the legal obligations undertaken in exchange for receiving federal financial assistance and requests for certification under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and as clarified in the Students for Fair Admissions versus Harvard, and to submit any necessary assurances or certifications of compliance to the appropriate federal or state agencies. So now that all of that's been identified and read, do we have any questions, comments, concerns? Yes, Janet.
Does this item D, approval of Ed Choice Voucher, mean we're joining the
Yes.
lawsuit?
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Thank you.
Dr. Hall, could you go over the revisions to the academic calendars?
Yes, currently now, we're able to meet with the teachers union and revise the calendars with our calendar committee. Revisions to the calendar is the district will start school after the fair, and we will end school on the 25-26 in May. And I believe in 26-27 calendar, we will continue to start after the fair, so it don't impact our family and students. And we will end school that first week in June. So that was a collaboration with our teachers union and also our administrative staff. And I believe this calendar here is probably better reflect, and we're in compliance with the negotiated agreement.
Any other? I had a question, and I can't remember which item it came from, but And one of the items to be adopted for the new building in the OFCC, there was language around calculating and determining the enrollment of schools, and that's to be the projected enrollment of our schools, and that is to be done annually. Is that every year about the same time, which seems like it's about now, sometime in April? Or do you know?
I'm not sure if we have an answer yet. We can get it for you, though.
Okay, yeah.
When it's gonna be done.
I just
they-
know we get the question often, you know, what happens if the building is built and we have an influx of students or we have a loss of a great number of students, and I just want to,
Yes, currently the building, with the 188 kids that we have, the building is spec to have 8 classrooms, and we have 11. And then we also have 2 labs on top of that, and then we also have the music room and multipurpose room. So
Right.
there's a total of 12 classrooms, and we're spec for 8 classrooms.
right, and that's great. The question, though, is that that's the number based on whatever we calculated or projected today. So then, and that building's not going to be built for, or finished for another
Yes.
2 years. So how does it work that we figure out how, you know, the size of the building and the
That-
number of students?
That building currently where it is now, we're anticipating with the size, you probably have about 20 or so in the classroom. So we do have enough room for if we have more students coming in. How the calculation works is, at the end of the day, the state will come in, do another enrollment audit. So that it will impact our 21% that we're getting from the state. Right now, currently, we're building on our own anyway, so it's pretty much not a matter of whether the state's coming in to do our evaluation or not. But that will impact towards the 21% that we're supposed to be getting from the state, the total piece. They will do a final enrollment for us.
And yeah, if you could tell me when that enrollment
What
audit
piece
is
is?
done. Well, no, the annual one.
Okay.
Just so that, you know, we can share that with everyone and so that I can be aware as well. Any other questions on any of the other items? Okay, hearing none, please call the roll.
Ms. Anderson White?
Yes.
Ms. Gatson?
Yes.
Ms. Garrett?
Yes.
Ms. Stagel?
Yes.
Ms. Ameca?
Yes. Next, I will entertain a motion to approve treasurer items A through E.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Bob?
Yes. Okay, for the month of March, we finished the month with $47,561,295.54. That is a huge increase from the $20 million prior, but that is because we got the money for the bond sale for the new building. So that includes the $23 million in the building fund. And then the board is kicking in the $7 million, which brings the building hopefully in at $30 million. We balanced to the penny. We had outstanding checks of $17,252.66. We did hit the market at a great time. We originally thought we would have to issue 5% coupons. We ended up issuing 4.85% coupons. And we got it invested on Wednesday, I think it was the 25th of March, and the market crashed on Friday. So we're projected to bring in a little bit over 4% for the 3 years that we have that money. And that should generate more money for the building project to cover any overruns that we have. So yes, it did work out quite well. As you can see from the report too, is that most of the bond money we had, we transferred to U.S. Bank, and that's where it's being invested. And that's through Meter, who is our investment advisors. So everything is done by our investment policy, and they have our policy and make sure that everything's being met. Next, we have the 5-year forecast. We did meet with the Finance Committee this morning. We did go over the draft of the 5-year forecast that I emailed everybody. We are still waiting on final numbers for homestead and rollback, and we haven't received, which we just got that payment, so I haven't updated the forecast with that. And we're still waiting on our last payment for the income tax, which will come hopefully Friday. If not, it'll be here next Tuesday. So Once I get those numbers, we did talk about it in the Finance Committee. I will update it. I'll email it back out to the Finance, and I'll bring that to you in May to go over. Currently, I haven't made any adjustments for the current budget, not knowing where it's going to end up. There are 22 bills in the House and Senate right now that would affect school finance, and not knowing which ones of those might end up in the budget bill, I just left it as current budget bill, really working off of what Governor DeWine had in his original budget. So once we get all that, then we can recalibrate. And we work on it every month. The report I give you is right from the 5-year forecast where we are. You have the current budget, and I update that budget as I make changes to it, so that you can see that we are meeting expectations in revenues, and we are underspending what I have budgeted in the 5-year forecast.
And Bob, we'll get that on July 1st, is that correct? The new budget from the state?
That, in the past, in my 27 years as being a school treasurer, the budget has never been passed prior to June 30th, except one time it did pass on the 29th. They are hoping to have this passed by June 1st. So it should be a very quick conference committee between the Senate and House to get it to where it needs to be, where they want it. But they are looking to do it much earlier because part of the House's proposal is to keep the state funding formula current but not implement the last 2 years. But the last line of that states that ODE cannot pay schools any money from the state foundation. That would mean we wouldn't receive foundation payments in July because there's no way, if it passes on June 30th, there's no way ODE can turn it around that quick without using the current state foundation to make approximations on where they think that money is going to be. So that would put quite a few districts in deficit, and they wouldn't be able to make payroll.
Not ours.
Not ours. No. No, not ours. And then the other big piece of that is the 30%. Currently, we carry over 68%, and that's how we're funding the new elementary, or new middle schools. So that would definitely mean that we would have to play, like, as they said, a shell game and transfer money into the construction project earlier than what we really actually need to. But we also have debt that we could pay off with it. We also have a maintenance fund for OSFC that isn't currently being funded that we could fund with it. So we have places that we know we're going to have expenditures. And the other big piece of the new budget is, will they let us offset expenses that we currently are under obligations? Because we stretch paid teachers, so we pay them 24 payments. 4 of those are for July and August. So that is debt that we currently have. Will they allow us to minus that off of our carryover balance? Because if we stopped business on June 30th, we would still be obligated for those funds. If we're truly a business like they're trying to treat us, then we have to be able to subtract any indebted debt that we currently have and take that off of our balance. So if we did that, it would put us down to right around 30%. So we shouldn't really have a problem, but again, we're not, like I said, in 27 years, I could pretty much tell you where the budget was going to end up, and at this time, I can't tell you what they're really going to do.
And maybe we'll get an update at our June meeting. Most likely,
Yes.
it will not be until our August meeting.
Yes, most likely it won't be till the August meeting, unless they have it done by June 1st. And then we'll have a lot of graphs and spreadsheets to show you how it's going to affect us.
Our favorite.
As for all funds, really the only fund that has changed is the building project fund. Again, it went from $2 million to $24,389,000. So again, I did talk to Hammond, which does our projections on when we're going to owe for the construction of the building, and that's how we built our investments. So I have staggered stuff out up to 3 years. because our final payments won't come until November and December of 2027. So we know that we'll have money that can still be invested there, so. Jim already talked about the RFP for food service, so we will be doing that. We need to transfer the Nexus money that we did receive. The general fund portion of the Nexus is $378,356. We'll move that money from the general fund to Fund 070, which is capital projects for Phase 2 and Phase 3 of our building project. We also need to approve the county auditor's millage. Again, they have left the debt fund at the 4.7 mils so that we can pay off the notes that we paid off early. We use general fund money to do that. And then our gap conversion company, Julian and Grube, our 3-year agreement was ended this year, so we would like to renew that to have them do our conversion from cash to gap so that it can be audited according to the state auditor's demand that we follow gap in posting financial statements. And then for donations, we had $100 anonymous to the backpack program. We had Ohio Pile, $22.15 proceeds from the sale of Spirit Well. And from Tammy, the We Care Closet, they gave us 27 baskets, or 72 baskets, I think it was. And the value was at $720, and those went out to the elementary students. That was very nice of them. It was fun carrying them all in. And that's all I have, Ms. President. Are there any questions?
Comments, questions? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ms. Anderson-White?
Yes.
Ms. Gatson? Yep. Ms. Garrett?
Yes.
Ms. Stagel?
Yes.
Ms. Amek?
Yes. I will now entertain a motion to approve superintendent's consent items A through R8. Wait, yeah, R10.
So moved.
It's been properly.
Employment of a new legal firm, Roselle and Andrews. Just a new legal firm that we're using. One of our attorneys has switched firms from Walter Haverfield to this new firm, so we want to retain her to keep her with us so we can utilize her. So this is an agreement that we can utilize her as well. She's not a retainer. We can use her anytime we want. We don't pay for her unless we need her. Item B, approving a Medicaid school program. This is for reimbursement. Item C is approving a proposal for the Ohio Floor Company. They'll be redoing our floors at OES, middle school, and high school. Be doing our surface forum. They do this annually, periodically throughout the last couple of years. And they resurface our floors, getting ready for the fall. Item D is approved a revised OPC permanent float MOU. This MOU is collaboration with OPC Union. This will provide the district and the union with flexibility to cover buildings during the custodian when they're short. So one of our maintenance people will be able to go and provide that coverage. And sometimes we confuse who's going to go over there, who's not. But this will allow the flexibility for that person as a floater to go over there. Item E is approval of double OEA school counter MOU. This is just confirmed that teachers will have the 184 days and students will have the 177 student days, not to exceed 177 student days. You notice on there that we had to take 1 day off due to the negotiated contract agreement. They weren't able to, they have more conference time and they weren't able to do the 178 days, so it was incorrect. And this MOU now will happen as during negotiations in 2 years. We'll address that during negotiations. Item F is approved of Lewis Brisak, legal firm, and Smith for legal services agreement related to Power School. Item F is a recommendation. We had a Power School breach, and they recommend this legal firm if we do have any other legal issues with Power School, this firm will help and provide support for us. And also answer questions and training for our staff too as well. Item G is approval of the 25-26 Educational Service Center agreement. This is an agreement that we have with the Educational Service Centers for staffing, for different supports that we need for our system. We have also the academy as well. And you notice on there too, the salaries that's on there, they include the benefits, and all those perks are included into the salary, as opposed to normally when you see a salary, it's just a flat salary, but it's not everything in there. So the benefits, all the other health insurance, all those things are included in there. Item H is worker compensation group for workman comp for the cases. Item I is a therapy LLC agreement. Item J is HI translation services agreement.
I had a question about
Yes.
the LLA. Is that a new group that we're working with? Because we have a contract for this school year and next school year. Thank
Okay.
you.
Wait, come to the microphone first, please.
Turn it on. There you go.
LLA Therapy, they provide related services to some of our students that are placed in separate facility placements. We have worked with them in the past, and it looks like there was an oversight that did not, they sent their contract for 24-25 to Sue Alleg, and we didn't realize that that never got to the right person until they sent next year's contract. So that's why it's on for both years.
Got it. Thank you for providing that answer. And can you just say who you are? Not for us, but for folks
Sure.
that are watching.
Sheila Felix, Director of Pupil Services.
Thank you for answering that question.
Thanks. Item J is approval of the 24-25 HI translation services agreement. They provide HI support, hearing impaired support for our students. Item K is approval of the 25-26 school-based mental health services agreement. Joseph, a Januzzi Counseling Consulting. They provide services for our students. We do not pay them. They just enter our building. So what we have them for, some parents utilize them, but it's not coming out of our pocket, our budget whatsoever. They just provide the support that we need for our students, and then it's up between the student and the parents to make arrangements. But they do also provide, if we have minor cases, they would help and talk to students as well, and provide training for our staff too.
Quick question. So I feel like we just signed a contract for Januzzi Counseling Services. Is that because they were new at that time, or?
And this is for 25-26 too, it's for next year. We probably just signed them at a time for this year. Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Correct. Approval of the 25-26 Family Alliance Counseling, same thing for services for next year. We're trying to get ahead of the services for next year. Same services they provide as well for our students and families. Item M is approval of the overnight field trip, the LMS 8th grade class to Washington, D.C. And we were very happy that's starting back up again for our students, and have the 8th grade field trip, our 8th grade trip back on the agenda. Item 9 is approval of the professional service contract for transportation for support for Oberlin College. O is Lorraine County Public Health School ESY summer programming. They provide nurse support and health support over the summer for our summer programming. Item P is a budget preparation, first reading of budget preparation policy. Not sure if Bob want to say anything about.
Yeah, what this does is, since cash balances are such a big topic in the legislature right now, what this does is give us a minimum cash balance of 90 days. And if we fall below that, then it stipulates the superintendent and treasurer needs to meet with the finance committee and set up an action plan on when we're going to put a ballot on the issue to get it back above 25. And then it also caps it at 150 days. And it does the same thing, is putting the board in, how are we going to spend this money? What are we saving this kind of money for? And that's what we've done with the building project. So we haven't, it wasn't a board policy, but now we're instituting it as a board policy. We've already followed that procedure because we knew why our balance was getting high, and it was to fund, and we knew why it was getting high, and that was the Nexus money that we were awarded with the pipeline that went through. So that's all what this policy does, is just stipulate and tells the superintendent and treasurer when they need to involve the board to set up action plans on what we're going to do with the balances.
Thanks, Bob. And these are a few, item Q are a few of the second reading for the policies that we've had on the agenda as well. They've been reviewed by Neola and our policy committee. Item R is a personnel report. We have a few resignations. And item 1, resignations, and we have a few new staff members. Leave of absence. We did hire a new Spanish teacher, who's from Thomas Barron, and we'd like to welcome him on board. So he'll be starting next year. And we have a few substitute teachers and permanent building sub as well.
I just have a question. So we have a permanent building sub on here who was the permanent building sub and then left and is now coming back?
Yes. He's going back from coming from the high school to the middle school. We were short on a couple of subs, and I believe they interviewed, and one that was previously was going to do it turned it down. I think he did not want to do that, so we ended up recruiting Kenny to come back for it. Question, you have the same question. So he didn't want to do the building sub at the high school, but I think things didn't work out, so he wanted to come back to the district. Oh, I didn't know if there were any more questions. We also have continuing contracts, Michelle Kester, and we have limited contracts on there as well, and some non-renewals. And item 9, item 10, we have for home instruction, which no one's on there. Request approval, item A through R10 from the board.
You are allowed to, but you can abstain also.
Okay.
I didn't even see that, but yes,
Yeah.
I know why.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be clear.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments?
I had a question about the ESC. So we have lots of stuff that the ESC does for us. And we have a couple of employees that are employed through the ESC instead of being employed by us. And I was wondering, one, why we do that, and two, like, what are the benefits of having them as employees of the ESC instead of being our employees?
There's a couple reasons why. Bob can answer the financial reasons why, but also they're on like a 1-year contract, so they're year to year. So it's, if we no longer need your services anymore, this is based on the contract, we can just say we don't no longer need your services anymore, as opposed to being here on a contract and maybe on a 2-3-year contract, or if they're a teacher, they're limited to the limited contracts or continuing contract work. So kind of as needed basis, so that helps us with the ESC. And sometimes it's their pay scale is a little different at the ESC, so that eliminates and their benefits a little different. So a lot of times it's maybe the cost factor too, that the cost could be lower than normal.
Nope, that's it for me.
No, hearing no other questions, please call the roll.
Miss Anderson White?
Yes.
Miss Gatson?
Yes.
Miss Garrett?
Yes.
Miss Daigle?
Yes.
Miss Emeka?
Yes. Next, we have comments, discussion board update. Did you have any further update for the legislative liaison, Janet?
Well, I just wanted to make the comment that Bob mentioned there are 30-some 22 bills in the House that are going to affect the budget, but there are actually 86 bills that affect public education that are making their way through our legislature, so it's pretty horrifying right now.
Okay. The endowment group, did they meet?
No.
We have not met. We did get all of the applications came in, so we are reviewing that. We got $42,000 worth of asks for our $24,000 of budget. So we'll be making some hard decisions, but we're excited to give everybody money.
That's nice. I mean, that's hard, but that's a good position to be in.
Maybe we'll ask Bob to pay for some of it.
Thank you for that update, Joanne. And then, well, the policy committee, we had policies to review on our agenda today. Is there anything else to add to that one? Okay. And then finance committee met this morning. So, want to give an update on that? Anybody?
You want to, or?
You can do it, Bob.
I kind of already said, we did meet this morning. We talked a lot about House Bill 96 now, or 89, I'm not, but it did pass the House. It's in the Senate. We did talk about Nexus. I still haven't heard it when they are planning. I did contact the county today to find out if they've made any delinquent payments, but I haven't heard back from the county. And then we also talked about what some of the cash flow would look like. We got an update from the Ray English, who sits on city council, about what might be happening. They're looking now at 17 houses on Green Acres instead of just 6 that they had put out there before. So they are some properties that might be getting, and he did say that they are redoing the planning commission and how it works with the
Zoning.
right, yeah, the zoning, because right now it has to go, like Eastwood, if they start to develop that, it would have to go to the planning commission, to council, back to the planning commission, and then back to council. And they're eliminating the second time through. So it would be once the planning, once the council, and which should help builders be able to work with the city and the planning commission on a faster track. So we're hoping things get through, and then we did bring up to them that we're going to look to add the new zoning to the Langston so that we can not be held up like we were with Eastwood on getting it rezoned.
So when you say new zoning, you mean the same zoning that we had at Eastwood, the
Yes.
R2?
Yes, the
Okay.
R2. Yep. So that's what we met in the finance committee.
Awesome. And can you, so we have in the past had 2 board members on the finance committee. Ken Stanley was one of the members on that committee. Since he's left the board, obviously he's not on there anymore, or he's not on there as a
No.
community member, right? Okay.
Well, he wants to when he comes back.
Okay, so he,
Yes.
in the future.
Yes.
Which is awesome. But my question is, do we, is it required for us to have 2 board members? Okay, so we don't have to add another person to that committee. Got it. Okay, town and gown committee. So, as I reported last board meeting, I think, or maybe one before that, the town and gown committee has actually scheduled regular meetings every other week. We're not always able to meet every other week, but we definitely meet a lot more than we have in the past. And the reason being is because the goalpost keeps moving, the law keeps changing. It's impacting everybody in our community, the college, the city, and of course the school district. So the last time that we met, we did talk a little bit about what was going on with this certification that the school board has to file. We talked about it at the college level and how it's impacting Oberlin College. And we talked a little bit about what was going on with Columbia and Harvard and the different reactions. The college is holding firm in not wanting to proactively comply with things that they do not have to comply with, which is great. They have, a lot of people who are watching it. They're fully informed. They're doing the same thing that our district is doing, reviewing all their policies and programs and all of that. But they're not gonna, proactively comply with something that, may or may not be law. And so they're being wise about that, and I think they're in a position to do that. We talked about the position we find ourselves in as well, and we're just trying to give support to each other, to each group or agency as we kind of wade through all of this. And then the city weighed in on it as well. And the representatives from the city, the 2 council members, talked about how they went to a conference in D.C. and the conversations that were going on there, and how they were trying to get access to our state representatives in D.C. and they were not able to do that. So it's just interesting times, and so that's the main reason why we're meeting more regularly, so that we can just kind of keep the lines of communication open and offer support to each other as we kind of wade through all of this. So, and the next meeting is actually scheduled for this Friday, I believe. So should have an update at the next meeting. And then I do not have an update for JVS. And then we have one other committee that's not on here now because we don't have anyone appointed to it. It's the Technology Committee. Can somebody tell me what that committee does before I appoint someone to it?
We,
'Cause I don't know.
Go ahead,
Thanks.
Steve.
Yeah, I figured it has something to do with Super Steve.
It's Steve's committee.
You gotta turn it on.
Okay, you're the one who sets these up.
So that committee was established, from what I was told, in relation to the tech levy itself. Early on, they had needs for the money, but they also wanted to develop programs, get a feel for what the teachers in the buildings wanted to do with the money. So not everything was allocated right away. We maintained that for several years, and then when online assessment was mandated and we had to go one-to-one, that has pretty much taken all of our funding in the past 10 years, has just kind of been juggling, seeing what we're going to cut, trying to consolidate services. So probably the past 5 years, tech committee meets maybe twice a year. It used to be almost monthly or quarterly, but there's not really much discussion going on these days because we have mandates. So yeah, we meet about twice a year for about an hour and a half, kind of discuss pain points in the buildings, come up, if there's like a new technology coming out or a new program available, we kind of do an evaluation of that, get feedback from teachers, and best decide how to move forward in the following year fiscally.
Thank you, that's helpful. So I would like to, because we're done with all the reports, right? I
I
yeah,
have
well-
an update on mine, but go.
Oh, okay, well, I would like to appoint Charlita Anderson-White to the Technology Committee because we don't have a board representative on there. Would you accept that appointment,
Sure.
madam?
Once or twice a year, you say?
Oh.
No, I'd be happy to.
Thank you, but just know you're not getting off that easy. We have strategic plan committees, but we'll talk about those later. So thank you so much for accepting the appointment, and thank you, Super Steve, for explaining it. So, yes. boss.
The other thing we talked about in the Finance Committee is we have 2 levies that need renewed in November. One being the emergency levy for $940,000, and the other one being the PI levy that is 2 mills, and we're only currently collecting 1 mill. We did talk in the Finance Committee. The emergency levy can move to a 10-year cycle instead of a 5-year, and the Finance Committee thought that it would be nice if the board would instruct me to move that to a 10-year cycle instead of a 5-year cycle. And it wouldn't change the language it wouldn't be on as a new levy. It would just be a renewal of the current one. It would just be for 10 years instead of 5 years.
And is that something we need to put on the next agenda and vote on?
Well, the resolution would be written for 10 at the next. We will pass a resolution in May to have the county auditor certify the millage, and then in June, we would ratify it again to have the Board of Elections add it to the November elections. The cutoff date is August 5th, I think, 5th or 6th, and since we don't have a meeting in July, we have to do it in June. So we start in May, and then we do it in June. And that's how we've done every renewal since I've been here, so.
So in instructing you to change it to 10, we just do that here in this meeting?
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
if there's no objections, I will have the language written that way.
Well, you sat in the meeting. Is it a good idea?
It seemed to make sense. We do renewals pass generally with a 90% rate in Oberlin, and then we just only have to vote on it every 10 years instead of voting on it every 5 years.
Okay, well, I don't have an objection to that. Does anybody else have an objection to that? Okay, well, you got it. I do have a question, though, since we're talking about this. So there, and if you don't have an answer, that's fine, because I'm putting you on the spot. But there's a ballot on there is an issue on the ballot for a constitutional amendment related to levies. Do you know about that?
That is, they're trying to take out the fixed sum levy, so that you won't be able to, or not fixed sum, I'm sorry.
Replacement?
Yes, the replacement levy.
So what, do you know what that means to?
Not-
Okay, not well enough to put you on
Not
the
well
spot,
enough.
yeah.
We don't have it, so I don't really.
Okay, we don't do those?
No.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
That's helpful. Okay. That was a question that I just had. Okay. Those are all of our committees. I don't think we have any hearing of the public on items. He brought it. There was nobody on there. Okay, so then, anybody got something? So, future meetings, May 27th, 2025, regular meeting, 6 p.m. right here, OES 2010 North Park Street. Next one is June 17th, 2025, regular meeting, 6 p.m., same place. And graduation is it's in between those two dates.
Yes. Tomorrow, 30, tomorrow.
May 31st?
31st?
Okay.
31st.
And I think we already got an invitation to that in our Google Calendar.
Yeah, I gotta look at
Saturday
it.
after Memorial Day.
Saturday after Memorial. Okay, so May 31st
At
is,
11 a.m.
yep,
Yep.
is graduation,
Yep.
so.
At Finney.
At
For
Finney.
those of you at Finney Chapel, so. And then next, we want to have a board retreat. When I initially joined the board, we did those, and then they just kind of went by the wayside. We actually did one virtually, and it gives us an opportunity to do like a board assessment, to talk about some goals that we have as a board, evaluate how we're performing as a board. And I think it's just important because I don't think we've done one in the last 4 years.
Not since I've been on.
Yeah, right. So I think it would be good for us to do that. The thought is to just have, it would be several hours, maybe a full day, not overnight or anything like that. And we would do it somewhere locally. I was thinking Henry's Barn. Henry's Barn. What we need, though, is a date that works for the board. And a retreat is still open to the public, right? Because
Yes,
we're
yes.
all together. We have to have a
It's
public meeting.
Special meeting, yes.
So it's kind of like a work session,
Yes.
but longer. Okay. So can we pull out our calendars really quickly so that we can do this? Now, the thought, what'd you say?
Janet's calendar's on her refrigerator.
Come on, Janet. I should put you on the technology committee.
That would be a disaster.
I don't know if we want to, do you want to double up in a month where we have a meeting, or do we want to take the 1 month that we have off and make a meeting, to do the retreat? I know.
I feel like July is so iffy. Like, do people know if they're going to be out of
Travel,
town? Or,
yeah.
I would
I don't
not
wanna
like
do
July.
So June or August?
August.
August?
I prefer August.
Most board retreats are in August. Okay. So, and then will we pick just another, I think we should do it on a weekend. Are you all okay with a Saturday? Don't look so happy. Okay, so a Saturday. Now watch something come up. Let's say August 9th?
That's Ebony.
Oh, see, it's not on my calendar. Thank you.
But isn't
we
it
can't
that
do it?
week?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't do it that day.
Ebony's wedding.
The 16th? When does school, we'll be getting into school starting back up.
School
Yeah,
will
when
start the
when does our
25th.
board
meeting?
Teachers would be back the
August.
14th, new
Teachers are back
teachers.
the 14th.
Yeah.
Then
When's
I
our
feel,
board meeting in August?
26.
26.
I feel like the 16th would be nice because then the teachers could know about it before. Oh,
Yep.
Misha wants to.
Yeah, you got input, because clearly.
Clarifying question. Is this something that you're requesting the presence of your administrative staff?
No, I don't know.
Okay,
So it's
just
a
wanted to ask that
board-
question because you're considering weekends, that's why. Yeah.
Oh, no, it's a board retreat, so it's really for us to, look internally, look internally and go, hey, how are we doing? And what do
My administrative staff get weekends off?
Really, they don't.
Wow.
Yeah, Dr. Hall will be there. No.
If we
What about
invite
the
him.
If I'm there.
23rd?
And maybe some speakers.
What about the 23rd? I mean, it's right before the board meeting, and I don't
Well,
know.
I kind of would like the spread. I mean, if you have a specific conflict, then just say that doesn't work.
I
for
don't
me.
have a conflict.
Okay.
I just will be, out and about. out of town for the rest of the, trying to be out
Oh,
for the
I
summer.
see what you mean.
What time
So
is
if I'm
this
gonna
thing
be
gonna
back-
happen? What time are we looking at?
That'd be up to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like 9, we're gonna do a full day, it'd be like 9 to 5. If we're not gonna do a full day, 9 to 3, maybe 9 to, well, I want it to be past the lunch hour, you know, because I just, you know, we'll break bread together, that kind of stuff, but.
Yeah, and I
So
guess
at least 4
I
hours.
can't do the 23rd. I have something on that day already.
You should cook on a Mason's at Lawson. It's gonna be awesome.
Well,
Well,
can we have
yeah.
everybody look at the 16th, and then we can decide it at the
Yeah.
or the
Oh, at the
next meeting?
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, and if that doesn't work for you, then propose, you know, some other
Yep.
dates, and we'll work it out. Okay, thank you for that.
And I'll check with Henry Barnes too, see if he even
Thank
has.
you.
a
Right,
space
yeah.
available.
Well, I said I was thinking of that place.
Right,
I don't mean
right.
we have to have it
Right.
there. Okay, so now I will entertain a motion to move to executive session pursuant to revised code 121.22G1 to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Ms. White?
Yes.
Ms. Gatson?
Yes.
Ms. Garrett?
Yes.
Ms. Stagel? Ms. Omeka?
Yes.
Yes.
And I didn't say this, but we will adjourn once we come out of executive session. So there we'll be finished with the business of the meeting today. So, all right.